Leadership is always the problem. Leadership is always the solution. Welcome to another episode of Profit Made Simple. And today we are talking about one of the most important skills that you need to master if you want a better business and a better life. And that is leadership. Right now I'm doing a roadshow where I'm flying into 6 different cities and spending a full day with my clients in those cities. And we are working on one skill and one skill only, and that is leadership. And today I'm going to be sharing with you 5 leadership principles that I've been teaching my clients that will help you have more impact. Now, my journey of leadership has been an interesting one. I would say that I was quite a poor leader for many of my years in business. Yet I was always thrust into leadership positions. But it's not the title or the position that makes a great leader. Instead, it's the impact, it's the influence, it's your ability to create other amazing leaders. Now, my poor leadership showed up in many ways. I really held the business back because leadership is always your ceiling in business. And the great thing is you can raise that ceiling. But what did poor leadership look like for me? Well, I refused to have hard conversations. My desire to be liked and to be popular outweighed my desire to have difficult conversations to resolve problems. Secondly, I was very poor at empowering my team, and so I would hold on to things for way too long. And number 3, I was a poor communicator. I'm not talking about how I was speaking, but rather I wasn't very good at clearly communicating the vision for me and the business itself. I wasn't getting my clients excited by the vision and what we were aiming to achieve. So for the last decade plus, I have worked on my leadership skills. I've been extremely diligent in doing so. Would I call myself a great leader? No, but I'm far better than what I was, and I'm still growing and developing. And today I'm going to be sharing with you 5 of the key principles that have helped me become a better leader. Because when you become a better leader, you have a better life. You have more profit. You have more impact. You have more freedom. And that's what I want for you more than anything else. Now, these principles, they were inspired by what I believe to be the best book on leadership is. And that is 21 Irrefutable Laws by John Maxwell. But it's more than that. I've been a coach now for 8 years. I've helped over 500 business owners achieve greatness. I've had multiple businesses over the last 2 decades. And so these lessons also come from my direct experience. Leadership principle number 1, the law of the lid. I want you to hold your hand up at your chest. If you're listening to this, hold it up at your sternum. Then I want you to close your other hand into a fist. And I want you to come up against that open hand. You see, despite your talent, that's the closed fist, despite your work ethic, despite your skill set, you can never break through that open palm because that is your leadership ability. That is the lid. Now you can raise that lid, and by practicing and implementing and committing to the 5 principles today, you will do so. And this is why I truly do believe nothing is more important than leadership, because it transcends all areas of your business. I've seen amazing business owners that are very talented at particular skills like marketing or sales or even product delivery not realize their true potential because leadership was holding them back. And I want to share a quick story with you about one of my amazing clients. Now, I saw her at the Oz Active Awards night on Friday night. And she came up to me and she said, Dan, I just had the most beautiful comment from a colleague that I've known for a long time. She said, Kathy, you've changed. You've stepped into this power. You've become a phenomenal leader, and I can just see it in everything you do. And it's true. It was a great observation. But 2 years ago, when Kathy and I started working with one another, that wasn't the case. She had a business that wasn't growing. She had a team that wasn't engaged. And she had uncertainty as a leader. She didn't know where she wanted to take the team. She hated conflict and would avoid it at all costs. But over the last 2 years, she's got really clear on where this business is going. She's got really crystal clear on her standards, and she is doing everything to uphold those. And she's embracing hard conversations. She has hard conversations with her team every single week. And as a result, she has realized exponential growth. She has had growth like no other year in business, and she's been doing it a long time. She's added well over 100 members net growth. And it's not because her marketing got better. It's not because her sales got better. They were a byproduct. It's because she stood up as a leader. Her lid was raised. Now, quite often, our lid is lower than what it should be because of what is going on internally to us. Now, I shared my lid earlier. I hated conflict. I have this desire to be liked, and that's an internal area that I needed to work on. Now, other lids that people have may be around money and their relationship with money. It may also be about control, and so they're not willing to delegate or empower their team. They want to micromanage everything because they crave certainty and control. And to identify where your lid is, you're going to have to know thyself. You're going to have to work on yourself harder than anything else. And when you do so, your world will change. If your relationship with money is a lid right now, then go back. Do the work. Was it your upbringing? Was it an incident that happened? Are there some beliefs that need rewiring? Are there some limiting beliefs that are no longer serving you and that need to be replaced by empowering beliefs? And then do you need to take a bunch of action to reinforce these new beliefs? Leadership is the problem, and leadership is the solution. So right now, you may think you have a lead issue. You may think you have a team issue. You may think that you've got the wrong location. But what I can say is this: it all comes back to leadership and the law of the lid. Leadership principle number 2, the law of the process. Leadership develops daily, not in a day. You all of a sudden just don't wake up and become a great leader because you read one book or you attended one seminar. Intensity is important, and that's why my clients are spending 8 hours working on their leadership with me over the next few months. But consistency trumps all. And so you need to do the little things consistently well. What does this look like for a business owner? Well, you need to be having daily huddles with your team. You need to be sharing that vision and getting them excited. You need to be having high-level leadership meetings each and every week with specific projects, KPIs, and an opportunity to solve problems. You need to be doing team reviews at least every single quarter, and you need to be giving feedback in a constructive manner, even when it's difficult, to your team members. I shared earlier that I wasn't the greatest leader, but I recognized that. I could feel the lid. I couldn't grow my business at certain points. And when I looked in the mirror, it was on me. It wasn't the economy. It wasn't an algorithm change. It was me. And so what I purposely did is I created a leadership growth plan. Now, this is what it looked like for me, and I encourage you to do the same. Number 1, what books could I read on leadership? And I've already shared my favorite, 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. But there's others that have really helped and served me grow into my leadership. Man Up by Bedros Keuilian, Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink and Leif Rabin, The Leadership Dichotomy by the same authors, and 5 Dysfunctions of a Team by Patrick Lencioni. But reading books isn't enough. I had to do more than that. So I started listening to podcasts, and specifically, Bedros Keuilian's podcast covers leadership particularly well because he's been on a similar trajectory to me. He was a shit leader, and as a result, his businesses struggled. As soon as he stepped into that leadership, his businesses took off. The other podcast that I listen to is by Craig Ballantyne, and I'll talk about him in a moment. But he has been one of the best mentors I've ever hired because he's helped me grow as a man. So we got books, we got podcasts, but that's still not enough. What I did this year is I took on a consulting client, and I did so because I respected the leader immensely. And I wanted to work with someone that has a multiple 7-figure business that has created an incredible movement, and I know is a phenomenal leader, and that is high performance father and Alex Ranieri. This guy has so much conviction about his vision, and he shares that so passionately, and I've learned so much from being in his presence. And then the fourth thing I did is actually hire a mentor. Now, we heard on Mitch Phillips' podcast how important having a leadership coach has been for him. And I've seen the change in him. He's evolved into a wonderful leader. Craig Ballantyne was a guy I always respected for his discipline, but he's given me far more than that. He's so honest with me and helps me understand when I'm delegating or diluting my leadership. He helps me realize when I'm being avoidant or procrastinating, and he gives me the frameworks to be the best possible leader I can be. So right now, if you're listening to this podcast or you're watching it on YouTube, you may be saying, I'm not the leader I need to be. All of you should be saying that. And what I'd challenge you to do is then create a growth plan for yourself. What does your leadership development plan look like? What books, podcasts, mentors, and people are you going to surround yourself with so you can step up and become the best leader possible? Leadership principle number 3 is the law of priorities. And what leaders understand is that being busy doesn't equal accomplishment. Being effective and efficient does. Great leaders have calendars that reflect the 3 R's. R number 1 is required. What is required of you that only you can do within the business itself? This podcast for me is one of those things. Leading my meetings is another one of those things. Creating the vivid vision for where we're going to take our businesses is another one of those activities. So I want you to list what is required of you, because right now, if you did a calendar audit, an activity audit, I guarantee that you are doing so many things that are not required of you, that you could easily delegate to others. Yet you're holding onto them and you're creating a narrative as to why you do so. No one can do them as well as me. It's going to cost me too much money to delegate those. Well, that's bullshit. It's just a narrative that you've created that is stopping you from doing what you must do. So that's the first R. What is required? The second R is return. What are those activities that give you the best yield of return? The ROI. Maybe it's sales. A lot of people want to delegate the sales first and foremost, yet very rarely will anyone sell as well as you. Maybe it's high-level networking events. Maybe it's actually creating a personal brand like this. But you have to identify those. You need to make sure that your calendar reflects it. Because again, I guarantee you, if you opened up your calendar, would 80% of the activities reflect the required and the return? And then the third R is the reward. What is the stuff that you like to do that just lights you up and that energizes you? It brings you joy. And I have this conversation with a lot of fitness business owners because what they love to do is coach. They were born coaches. They love taking sessions. And I don't believe you should ever eliminate that. You might need to minimize it. Maybe it's taking 2-3 sessions a week just so you can be lit up and you have that burst of energy. You do need to put a cap on it because there will be an opportunity cost if you're doing too much. But we've had great operators on this podcast like Ben Lucas at Flow Athletic. He still takes sessions, only 3-4 a week, but he does so because he loves it and it energizes him for the whole week. So my challenge is this. I want you to look through the lens of the 3 R's. What is required of you? What gives you the highest possible return? And what gives you the highest levels of reward? I then want you to delegate, eliminate everything else. And you don't just do this once. This needs to be an ongoing process. You need to be doing this on a weekly basis. And I guarantee this, if your calendar reflects the 3 R's, then you're going to be a better leader. You're going to focus on what matters most, and your business is going to be on another trajectory. When you're doing that audit, a really simple framework that Maxwell gives that I absolutely love is delegate, drop, add. What activities right now do you need to delegate that you need to give to somebody else? What do you just need to drop? Like when you look at it, you go, why am I doing this? Is it because I've always done it? Or is it because it produces a great outcome? And I'll share a really quick example in our business of this. We just did our quarterly review with all of our leadership team. And one of the things that we've done for several years is a Facebook Live in our business group, Fitness Business Accelerator, on a Tuesday at midday. And when we looked at it, we just asked why. It was no longer producing the rewards and the outcomes that it once was. It wasn't getting the same levels of engagement. So we just dropped it. So what do you need to drop in your business right now? And then the third column is add. I mentioned a lot of things that I'm doing to improve my leadership skills. What are some of the things that you need to add to your calendar to improve yours? Delegate, drop, add. And again, I'm just going to share a client story. Rob Young at Young for Life. When I met him, this man was on the tools 40, 50, 60 hours a week. He was doing everything. You name it. He was doing the suspensions, the cancellations, the sales, the marketing, the programming. It was unsustainable. And he has a young family. So over a period of time, I've got him better and better at delegating. We brought in an amazing administrator, a local administrator. Then we brought in a virtual assistant, and we've built an incredible coaching team that now has leadership positions and extra responsibilities. As a result, he only takes a handful of sessions because he wants to, and his business is growing faster than any one of our clients right now. He stepped into his leadership. He made the identity shift from coach to CEO, and his calendar reflected those changes. Our fourth principle of leadership is the law of connection. And this centers around 3 key areas. Number 1, does your team, does your community know that you care? Do you show that authentic concern for everybody within your community itself? Number 2, do they feel that concern? Do they feel the support? Do they feel you going that extra mile? Do they feel that you care for them as a person rather than just a cog in the machine? Number 3, do they see that concern? Do they see you practicing it? It's far easier to say things than it is to do. But are you a walking example of that concern? Do you go out your way? Do you prioritize their welfare? Do you show that kindness? Do you show that kindness and love and care for your community? I'll go back to that podcast with Ben Lucas. His team retention was over 7 years. Why was it so big? Because of his philosophy around caring for his team. He said, I work for my team and they work for my members. He's not taking early morning sessions, yet he's waking up. He's getting into the studio first thing in the morning and he's delivering coffees to his team members, to his community members. He is going that extra mile. He invests in their professional development. He supports them in the events that they run. Care is the number one factor that will influence how long someone stays with you within a team and how engaged they are. So I'm going to challenge you. Do you have that level of concern for your team members and your community members? Now, I have to say, this has been a strength of mine. I know everybody in our community. We've got over 200 members within our coaching community. And I know their first names, I know their businesses, I know their struggles, I know the wins that they've accomplished and achieved. And at client events, I make sure I make it a priority that I spend at least some time with everybody. Now, it's only a small thing, yet it has made a profound difference to our culture and our community and our retention. People very rarely leave us. They come for the results, but they stay because there is that genuine level of investment in them as people and their businesses. So I challenge you. Do you know every member by name? Are you showing up with this heartfelt, authentic, genuine care for your team members? When you do so, you model it, and then that will transcend and translate throughout the organization itself. Connection is hard to measure. It's got an invisible ROI. But when you do it, and you do it well, you have an incredible culture, you have remarkable loyalty, and you have a ton of referrals. Our fifth and final leadership principle is the law of the big mo. And I have to say, this is absolutely my favorite. Now, everyone listening or watching, you would know what it feels like to have momentum in your business. You just feel unstoppable and everything feels easy. It's your best friend as a leader. So it's obvious that we want more momentum. And it's our job as a leader to create the momentum itself. And I'll give you a quick story. There was a Father's Day breakfast only a few weeks ago at my son's school. And there is a gym owner that's also a parent there. Now, he owns 3 massive gyms. And we were chatting away and I said, how's business been? And he goes, it's fantastic, Dan. And I knew that he wasn't just speaking out his ass, because he is a great operator. He is an A-level CEO. And I said, why, George, is it fantastic? He said, because we have momentum. We had momentum during winter. We've taken that into spring, and we are unstoppable right now. And I asked him, how have you created this remarkable momentum? And he said, we've curated it. I've made sure that there are activities and campaigns every single month that just raises the energy. We have acquisition campaigns, referral campaigns. We have campaigns to show our appreciation to members. And he just said each one of the clubs has this undeniable energy, but it's been very deliberate. It hasn't happened by accident. It's been a byproduct of the actions and the strategy that we have put in place. That's a strong leader. I was speaking to another client, another George, the other week, and he is experiencing unprecedented growth. He has never grown at a frenetic rate like he is right now. And when I asked him, what do you think is behind it. He said, we've got momentum. And every time it seems to slow down, I jump in the boat and I row like crazy. Maybe the wind's not there. So I grab the oars and like a madman, I row like crazy. And what he was saying is as soon as it starts to slow down, he creates it with his activity. He'll go and run another workshop. He'll go and meet other cafe owners. He'll go and do a big loyalty drive. And so there's always something happening. That is your responsibility. Right now, if momentum is against you, you need to have a look at your business. Are there certain elements within your business that are demotivating? And again, I'll give you a quick example. Within our business, we love running events. Make a wild claim here. We run events better than any other mastermind or coaching business on the planet. They are truly that good. But they are extremely exhausting. There are so many details that go into it. And my senior team member, Jen, she's amazing at event coordination. But she was finding all the event logistics were starting to drain her. They were starting to pull her energy. And now I've hired an events manager because it was demotivating her. And now she's motivated. She was already a 10 out of 10. Now she's an 11 out of 10 for motivation. That motivation is going to deliver more momentum in the business itself. So I want you to look, what do you need to add? Is it the campaigns? Is it the strategy to cultivate that momentum? What do you need to remove so nothing gets in the way of it? Momentum starts with you. If people are flat within the organization, that's on you. Have a look in the mirror. How's your energy? Are you bringing it? Or are you bringing a whole bunch of baggage, anxiety, fear, scarcity into your organization? Momentum begins and ends with you as the leader. So there we have 5 big principles of leadership. Now, I don't want you to work on all of them at once. That will just simply overwhelm. Instead, what I want you to do is I want you to identify which one of those principles hit you between the eyes. Which one do you need to work on most? What is the most immediate priority? And then I want you to dedicate yourself to it because I know how much is going to change for the better once you do. Leadership is the engine of your business growth. I hope that you've derived a lot of value from today's episode. I hope I've challenged you and inspired you to become a better leader. And if you did get value, then I simply just want you to subscribe on whatever platform you're on and share it with other people, because the more great leaders we have in this industry, the bigger the impact we're going to have. Thank you so much for watching.